Okay, so today we're going to talk about function notation. Now we've been graphing and it looks like y equals 2/3 x plus 2. Now they're going to change it, and the only difference in function notation and standard notation that we've been doing is instead of the y, they're going to put f of x. They're going to put the f of x. Now they're going to give you this, and this is going to be written as function notation. Typically, they're going to say f of x equals that, equals 2/3 x plus 2. Now they're going to say, what about if they did f of 3? What this means is I'm going to plug 3 in. See how 3 is in the same place as the x? Well, I'm going to put 3 right here where this x goes. So now I have 2/3 times 3 plus 2. And they call that f of 3. So how do we multiply a whole number times a fraction? We said we take the whole number and multiply by the top. What's 3 times 2? It's 6. And then 6 divided by 3, you get 2. So you get 2 plus 2, which gives you what? 4. So whenever you plug 3 in for x, so when I plug 3 in for x, my answer turns out to be 4. Now doesn't that look just like what we had before when we did our points? The point is 3, 4. Really, all we're doing is we're replacing your y with f of x. They're going to tell you what x is, and it's going to be plugged in. And then you're going to plug it in over here. And now then we simplify that side. Okay, so let's try another one. What if they say f of 2 equals 3x plus 1? What if they say f of 2 equals 3x plus 1? This 2 is where the f of x is. Okay, typically they're going to write it like this. And then underneath it they'll put f of 2. This is going in place. Anywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with a 2. Anywhere over here you see an x, right here. So I'm going to put 3 times 2 plus 1. What's 3 times 2? It's 6. And 6 plus 1? 7. Since this is my x, what does that have to be? It has to be your y. So you get 2, 7. And that would be your answer. So when you're plugging these in, you plug in what they give you for x, and your output's going to be your y. Remember we did input and output tables? Input was x, output is y. Well, they're giving you the input, which is your x, and your output's going to be your y. So here you go. I'm going to let you try one. So they're going to say f of x equals 5x minus 2. And they want you to try f of 4. So try that now. You can pause it, try that one, and then come back and see how you did. So we're going to plug 4 in for the x. So I'm going to have 5 times 4 minus 2. Minus. And 5 times 4 is 20 minus 2, which gives me an 18. So you have 4, 18. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's try one that has a fraction. F of x equals 1/2 x plus 2. And they're going to tell you to use f of 10. Okay, pause it, try this one, and then come back and see how you did. Okay, so we're going to plug 10 in for x. So I have 1/2 times 10 plus 2. What's half of 10? It's 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. So you get 10 for your x, because that's your input. 7 is your y, because that's your output. So your answer is 10, 7. Now what about if they give you this exact setup right here? What if they give you this? F of x equals 1/2 x plus 2, and they ask you to graph it. Now if they ask you to graph it, you should be able to graph it just like we did before, because before we were graphing them like this. 1/2 x plus 2, right? Now what is my plus 2? That's going to be your what? That's your y-intercept. What's your 1/2? That's going to be your slope. Okay, this you're going to do first. This we're going to do second. And you do this one from your y-intercept. So if I have a graph, here's my graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. And remember, put your arrows on the ends because it keeps going. Okay, so I'm going to start with my y-intercept is plus 2. So plus 2, I go up to, put a dot. Now that I put my dot, I do my slope, which is 1/2. So that's the rise over the run. So rise 1, run 2. So go up 1, go over 2. Remember, you can also go down 1 and left 2. So whenever they give you one that's in an f of x form and they tell you to graph it, it's not any different than really what you've been doing. All you're going to do is graph it just like it is. Pretend the f of x is a y and graph it the same way. So let's try one like that. Okay, so they're going to give you f of x equals 2/3 x minus 1. Okay, so pause it now, draw a little graph, and graph this one. Okay, so our starting point is minus 1, so I go down 1. That's my y-intercept. It's a minus, so you go down. If it's a plus, you go up. Pluses go up, minuses go down. Minus 1, go down 1. Your slope is 2/3, so go up 2. Go right 3, put a dot. If you want to, you could go down 2 and go left 3 and put a dot. And there's your line.